Most people think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But the Stoics would say that's not freedom at all. It's slavery. Slavery to anger, slavery to desire, slavery to fear. Look around. How many lives are wasted chasing approval, wealth, or comfort, only to end up restless and unsatisfied? The truth is, your worst enemy is not out there in the world. It lives inside your own mind. The Stoics believed the strongest man is not the one who conquers nations, but the one who conquers himself. The question is, do you rule your mind, or does it rule you? The first Stoic strategy is simple, yet it changes everything. Know what is in your control and know what is not. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us and some things are not." That distinction is the foundation of peace. Most people spend their days trying to bend the world to their will, but the world rarely bends. We cannot control the weather, the markets, other people's opinions, or the passing of time. Yet we lose sleep over them. Think of being stuck in traffic. You can honk, curse, grip the wheel tighter, but none of that moves the cars ahead of you. The only thing truly yours is your response. You can choose to breathe, listen to something meaningful, or even sit in silence. The cars will move when they move, but your mind need not suffer twice, once from the traffic and again from your resistance to it. This is what the Stoics practiced. To them, the art of living was not about avoiding difficulties, but about deciding where to place energy. When we spend our strength on things beyond our control, we waste ourselves. But when we narrow our focus to what belongs to us, our judgments, our choices, our actions, we discover real power. The storm may rage, but the pilot who controls his ship will not be lost. Ask yourself how much of your daily frustration comes from trying to master what was never yours to command, and what would life feel like if you put that weight down? The second Stoic strategy is to master your reactions instead of trying to master the world. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The truth is, you cannot stop people from speaking harshly. You cannot prevent misfortune from arriving, and you cannot guarantee that life will treat you fairly. But you can decide what these things mean to you and how you respond. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. In that moment, the event itself is neutral. It is only words carried on the air. The sting you feel comes not from the insult, but from the meaning you attach to it. If you flare up with anger, you have handed your peace over to another person. But if you remain calm, if you choose to respond with dignity or silence, then you keep your power. The insult becomes nothing more than sound, unable to wound you. The Stoics believed this inner command is true freedom. You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf them. You cannot silence the noise of the world, but you can decide whether or not it enters your mind. Every reaction is a choice, and each choice shapes who you become. So the question is not, how can I control others, but rather, how can I remain in control of myself? The answer lies in training your mind to pause, to judge wisely, and to act with reason instead of impulse. That is the beginning of strength. The third Stoic strategy is to practice voluntary discomfort. Seneca advised his students to sometimes eat coarse bread, wear rough clothing, and sleep on the ground, all while saying to themselves, "Is this what I feared?" The point was not to suffer for its own sake, but to loosen the grip that comfort and luxury hold over the mind. In our time, discomfort is avoided at all costs. We heat and cool every room, order food with a tap, and fill silence with endless noise. But when life suddenly brings hardship, those who have never practiced discomfort are shaken. A minor setback feels unbearable. A lost job feels like the end of the world. Yet those who have trained themselves to endure small difficulties carry a hidden strength. Think of taking a cold shower. It is unpleasant at first, but it teaches the body and mind that you can endure discomfort without breaking. Or imagine skipping your usual luxury for a week: simple meals, less entertainment, less comfort. Instead of weakness, you will discover gratitude. Suddenly, ordinary food tastes better, warmth feels like a gift, and comfort is no longer taken for granted. The Stoics practice this because fear often grows from attachment. If you can live with less, what can the world take from you? When hardship comes, it no longer terrifies you because you already know you can face it. And when prosperity comes, you enjoy it without clinging because you no longer depend on it. The lesson is simple. A little chosen discomfort makes you unshakable when real discomfort arrives. Would you rather be fragile in the face of life or prepared? The fourth Stoic strategy is negative visualization, also called memento mori. Remember that you will die. At first it sounds grim, but the Stoics used it not to make life darker, but brighter. When you imagine the loss of what you love, you sharpen your gratitude for what is here now. Picture a loved one, your partner, your child, your parent. Now imagine they are gone. In that instant, the petty annoyances, the small arguments, the daily frustrations vanish. What remains is the deep truth. You are blessed simply to have them at all. When you open your eyes again to their presence, you love them more fully, because you see how fragile and precious life really is. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal to remember constantly that death is near, not as a curse, but as a reminder. If you were to die tomorrow, would today's worries matter? Would you care about the rude stranger, the delay, the lost opportunity? Or would you be grateful for the chance to breathe, to see, to love, even once more? This practice changes how you see everything. Instead of taking life for granted, you begin to treat each day as borrowed time. You savor ordinary moments, a meal, a sunrise, a conversation, because you know they cannot last forever. Death is not the enemy in Stoicism. It is the backdrop that makes life shine more brightly. When you hold this awareness, nothing can truly be wasted. The only tragedy is not to live fully while you still can. So the question is, are you awake to the gift of this moment, or are you waiting until it's too late? The fifth Stoic strategy is to focus on virtue, not approval. In every age, people chase the praise of others. They want to be liked, admired, celebrated. But the Stoics warned that approval is a shifting shadow. What pleases one person will offend another. If you live by the opinions of others, you will always be pulled in every direction but your own. Virtue, on the other hand, is steady. It does not depend on fashion, applause, or reputation. It is rooted in reason, justice, courage, and self-control. Seneca wrote that the wise man seeks to be good, not merely to seem good. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that the crowd might misunderstand him, but what mattered was whether he lived according to principle. Think of a moment at work where you faced a choice. You could take the easy path that would win quick approval, or the honest path that might bring criticism. If you chose approval, the praise fades quickly, leaving only compromise. If you chose virtue, the results may not be celebrated, but you carry strength within you. And that strength endures. Approval is outside your control. It depends on fickle minds, changing moods, and shifting values. Virtue is always within your control. You decide whether to act with integrity, to speak truth, to do what is right. The question is, will you trade your character for applause, Or will you stand firm, knowing that virtue is its own reward? In the end, the world may forget your name, but it cannot erase the worth of a life lived with honor. The sixth Stoic strategy is to train your perception and reframe challenges. The Stoics believed events themselves are neutral. They are not good or bad by nature, it is our judgment that gives them weight. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it." Imagine breaking a bone. To one person, it is pure misfortune, a reason to despair. To another, it is an opportunity to develop patience, to practice endurance, to grow gratitude for the body's ability to heal. The event is the same, but the experience is completely different. It depends on how the mind frames it. This is not about pretending pain is pleasant or denying difficulty. The Stoics did not deny reality, they simply chose to meet it with perspective. They asked, "What can this teach me? How can I use this obstacle as material for growth?" Marcus Aurelius compared obstacles to firewood thrown onto a flame. The fire does not go out, it grows stronger. Life will bring resistance. You will be disappointed, rejected, slowed down, misunderstood. If you meet these moments with bitterness, you shrink. If you meet them with wisdom, you expand. The obstacle becomes the way, not the end of the way. So next time life places a stone in your path, ask yourself, is this a wall blocking me, or is it the very ground on which I can climb higher? Your perception decides the answer. The seventh Stoic strategy is to live in accord with nature. For the Stoics, this did not simply mean walking through forests or admiring sunsets. It meant aligning your life with reason, with the natural order of things, with the role you were born to play. Everything in nature fulfills its purpose without complaint. Rivers flow, trees grow, animals follow their instincts. Only human beings resist their own nature by chasing greed, pride, and endless distraction. To live according to nature is to recognize that you are a rational being, meant to use reason to guide your actions. It means practicing justice toward others, self-control toward yourself, and courage when life demands it. When you act against this, you feel inner conflict. When you live in harmony with it, you feel peace. Think of how often modern life pulls us away from this simplicity. We consume far more than we need, chasing pleasures that leave us empty. We compare ourselves endlessly, forgetting that nature made each person unique. We neglect our duties, believing freedom means doing nothing, when in truth freedom is found in fulfilling what we were made for. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." Your nature is not only personal, it is also social. You are made to serve, to contribute, to live as part of a greater whole. To reject this is to live in conflict with the order of life itself. Ask yourself, are you living as nature designed, rational, disciplined, compassionate, or are you living as a slave to impulses and illusions? The answer determines whether you live in harmony or in turmoil. The eighth Stoic strategy is daily reflection and journaling. Marcus Aurelius wrote privately to himself each day, not to impress anyone, but to practice living well. Seneca advised an evening review. Ask yourself what you did, why you did it, and how you could do it better tomorrow. This simple habit is like cleaning a window. You don't change the world outside, but you see it more clearly. And when you see clearly, you act wisely. Start small. In the morning, write 3 lines. What matters today? What challenges might I face? How will I respond with reason instead of impulse? This is premeditatio malorum, imagining difficulties ahead so you are not surprised by them. If you expect delays, criticism, or temptation, you won't be thrown off when they arrive. You already chose your response. At night, do another short review. Where did I live up to my values? Where did I fall short? What will I try tomorrow? Keep it honest and kind. The goal is improvement, not self-punishment. If you lost your temper, note what sparked it and plan a calmer response next time. If you kept a promise, record it and feel the strength it brings. Over time, you build a track record with yourself. Add gratitude. List one ordinary gift you noticed today: the taste of simple food, the way light fell across a room, a quiet moment with someone you love. Gratitude trains the mind to stop chasing more and start honoring what is already here. This practice turns days into teachers. Instead of drifting, you live by design. Instead of repeating the same mistakes, you learn. And when life tests you, your journal is proof that you are not the same person you were yesterday. You are becoming steadier, clearer, and more free. The 9th Stoic strategy is self-discipline. Without discipline, freedom is an illusion. Seneca wrote, "No man is free who is a slave to his body." To the Stoics, the worst chains were not iron. They were the chains of appetite, laziness, and unchecked desire. True strength is the ability to command yourself when no one else is watching. Think of the small battles in an ordinary day. The alarm rings. Do you rise or do you drift back into sleep? You feel anger rising. Do you let it explode or do you hold it steady? The food is tempting. Do you eat until you are stuffed or do you stop when you have had enough? Each decision seems small, but together they form the architecture of your character. Self-discipline does not mean denying all pleasure. The Stoics enjoyed food, friendship, and comfort when they came, but they refused to be owned by them. Pleasure was a guest, not a master. Discipline is choosing not what feels good now, but what leads to a stronger, freer life later. Look at athletes, musicians, or craftsmen. Their excellence does not come from talent alone. It comes from showing up day after day, whether they felt like it or not. The Stoics believed life itself demanded the same practice. Each day is training for the soul. So ask yourself, who is in command? You or your impulses? Discipline may feel heavy at first, but without it, life becomes heavier still. With it, you gain something priceless, the ability to trust yourself. And once you can trust yourself, the world can no longer sway you with every temptation that passes by. The 10th Stoic strategy is to remember the smallness of fame and wealth. From childhood, most of us are taught to chase recognition, money, and status as if they are the highest goods. But the Stoics saw them for what they are: fragile, fleeting, and often poisonous. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the vast Roman Empire, reminded himself that even the names of great emperors fade quickly, lost in time. If the rulers of the world are forgotten, what hope is there that the applause of strangers will last for us? Wealth is the same. Fortune comes and goes, and the more tightly we cling to it, the more it masters us. Seneca, who was rich himself, warned that money was only a tool, never an end. He advised living as though poverty were always near, so that when riches disappeared, the soul remained untroubled. Think of all those who sacrifice health, family, and virtue for the sake of more. They rise high, but at the cost of their peace. What they build can vanish overnight: a lost job, a market crash, a shift in public taste. And when it does, they are left with nothing inside because they spent their life building on sand. To the Stoics, true wealth is measured in character, not coins. True fame is to live rightly, even if no one notices. When you free yourself from the pursuit of external praise and possessions, you discover a deeper abundance, the calm of knowing you have enough, and the strength of knowing who you are. So the question is, will you chase shadows, or will you build something death cannot erase? The 11th Stoic strategy is to serve others, not just yourself. Stoicism was never about withdrawing from the world and living in isolation. It taught that we are all part of a larger community, like bees in a hive. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." In other words, your well-being is bound up with the well-being of those around you. Service does not always mean grand gestures. It can be as simple as listening when someone is burdened, offering help without expecting reward, or doing your work with honesty so others can depend on you. These are not small acts, they are the foundation of trust and harmony. Modern culture often praises self-interest, telling us to chase personal success at all costs. But when you live only for yourself, life shrinks. It becomes narrow, lonely, and empty. When you live for others as well, life expands. Suddenly your actions carry meaning beyond your own survival. You become part of something larger, a contributor to the common good. The Stoics believed that serving others was not only duty but also wisdom. By helping the community, you strengthen the very structure that supports your own life. Just as a hand cannot be healthy if the body is sick, a person cannot thrive in a broken society. So ask yourself, are you living as a taker or a giver? Each day offers the chance to build a little more light in the world. The paradox is this: by lifting others, you lift yourself. By serving the whole, you discover the truest form of strength and fulfillment. The 12th Stoic strategy is to face the challenge of practicing all of this in today's world. Ancient Rome was harsh, but in some ways it was simpler. Our world is filled with endless distractions, luxuries, and pressures that pull us in every direction. We are told to seek comfort, to buy more, to compare constantly. The Stoic path runs against this current, which is why it feels so difficult at first. Think about how modern life encourages indulgence. We have food on demand, entertainment at every moment, and tools that remove almost all physical hardship. While these conveniences are not wrong in themselves, they can soften the spirit. The muscles of patience, endurance, and gratitude are left unused. Then when life delivers real pain, illness, loss, betrayal, we are caught unprepared, like soldiers who never trained for battle. Another challenge is ego. The world rewards appearance, popularity, and speed. Social media turns life into a contest of comparison, where value is measured by likes and attention. The Stoics warned against this very trap, reminding us that external approval is never truly ours. But resisting this pull is not easy when the crowd applauds shallow victories and mocks quiet strength. This is why Stoicism feels radical today. It demands that you choose virtue over comfort, discipline over impulse, truth over praise. It is not an easy path, but it is the path that leads to freedom. You cannot control the world around you, but you can refuse to let it master your soul. The real question is this: do you want the comfort of blending in, or the strength of standing apart? The answer will decide not just how you live, but who you become. The 13th Stoic strategy is to bring everything together into a single realization. Freedom is not found in controlling life, but in controlling yourself. All the practices, the discipline, the reflection, the acceptance, the service, are not isolated tricks. They are tools, each sharpening the mind and shaping the soul for one central purpose: to remain steady no matter what happens. Imagine standing in a storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes, the trees bend. Most people run, panic, or curse the sky. But the Stoic learns to stand calm, rooted like a tree that will not break. The storm is not yours to command, but your posture within it is. This is the key moment, the climax of Stoic teaching. Life will not be gentle, but you can be unshaken. When you understand this, the world changes. Insults lose their sting because they cannot touch your character. Loss loses its terror because you have already practiced letting go. Even death loses its power because you know it is not in your control. and therefore not worth fear. What remains is clarity, courage, and freedom. The Stoics were not perfect men. They were emperors, slaves, and citizens, each struggling with the same storms you face now. But they discovered that peace does not come from fortune, wealth, or the approval of the crowd. It comes from mastery of the self. You cannot stop the storm, but you can choose to be the calm within it. And once you realize that, no one and nothing can truly take your freedom away. Subscribe for more timeless lessons, because wisdom only works when you live it.